Dire team ban. Team Empire's turn to ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dota Pit League Season 2 group stages. It is Team Secret versus Team Empire here. Game number 2 already underway. We're into the draft, of course. Quite the good first game to start things off today. We have this one series today, and that's going to be it, unfortunately. But it's been a good series thus far. 50 minutes for the first game. Kuroki Anti-Mage, I heard, is pretty good. And I've heard Team Secret is rather good as well around him. As for playing lights out, Simba getting some farm later on into the game, and really No-Tail and Puppy providing a lot of space for the rest of the squad. So again, my name is Mott. With me today is F4L, and F4L, that first game, man, what a crazy one, I gotta say.
Pretty crazy, and I mean, Secret just showing once again why they are one of the best teams in Europe, and probably even the world. You could probably make a case for, and I mean, their late game execution is just on an entire other level. At least compared to Empire in that previous game. I mean, they just did so much work with that Elder Titan and Caudle in the late game. And Secret gonna go ahead and pick themselves up the Tide Hunter. Probably a really comfort pick for Simba. And, I mean, he has excellent Ravages every game I see him play this hero.
Well, would you say he's universe level in his Ravages?
I would say his team fight execution is universe level, but I wouldn't say his other... Like, Universe is just so good at laning. Universe is like the complete package in offlane. And I think that's what makes him the best offlaner in the world.
So you do have to give credit to Simba, though. This is somebody that has switched from support role when he was playing with Fnatic to playing the offlane role, and he's done it rather well.
I think that's why he has trouble in the laning phase a bit. Just because he's not as comfortable playing these cores. You know, he doesn't know the situations as well, whereas Universe has been playing that offlane position for going on 3 years now, so
yes,
very experienced.
Was he playing that with the original Evil Geniuses? I can't remember. Yeah, I think he was.
So he played he played support.
Oh yeah, that's
for
right.
EG.
Yeah.
Then he played offlane for Dignitas.
Yes.
Then he played offlane for EG during that MSS Sphere Universe
we won't
iteration.
Talk about years.
Bogged and Jo. And then, so he played with them for, what was it, like 8 months they played together or something?
Yes.
And then, of course, he's been playing on the new one, so for over a year. So
and I gotta say,
lot of experience.
With Simba playing the way he is, you're gonna expect to see some rust, but it really hasn't shown itself. Honestly, he's played rather well. And that goes for the rest of Secret. Again, and these are a bunch of players that have role switched as well. Although Kuroki, it's actually just Kuroki, I think, is the only other person. And he's always said he's been the most comfortable playing a carry as long as he has a team around him that can, of course, get him to the late game and get him enough room and space. And I think they've done a really good job of making him actually able to farm and carry in the late game. Like he's done a fantastic job.
There was a time in Dota 1 where he was widely considered a top 2 player.
Yes.
It was Vegas and Kuroki, and these two players were considered gods of their time. And that was the time he would play a lot of position 1 and mid lane, and I mean, he was an absolute monster back then, so not too surprising to see him go back to his carry roots, and he's done a fantastic job so far playing carry.
They've just made so much space around him, and you saw in the last game as well. And we talked about it. It wasn't just Kuroki; it was the entire team playing well positioning wise. You can't help but think also that Empire maybe threw the game a bit. They had a couple of opportunities, but at the same time, they certainly had the game in the palm of their hands, and they let it slip away.
10 seconds
Some
remaining.
misengagements that really they could have capitalized on with Yoki, and maybe even always
5
want to fly, hitting
seconds
some big
remaining.
spells like their Dream Coils and their Black Holes. Whereas Secret, they were able to kite around, they were able to make
Reserve
sure they
time.
didn't get caught out of position, and that made it just so much more difficult for Empire,
Dire
even with
team
Silent
pick.
Super Farm. So they pick up the Elder Titan, and they pick up the Doom. Whether that Elder Titan is picked for them or a denial to Team Secret remains to be seen, but they will pick it first pick, and we got some more bands going, but Doom pick first is coming out.
Yep.
Second pick, I should say.
And I think I've talked about this a lot. I think Doom is going to slowly transition back into being a popular hero. You have to vary your item build a bit different.
10
You
seconds
can't.
remaining.
He's a bit less versatile now in his item choices.
5
He pretty much has
seconds
to be
remaining.
buying that Aghanims so that he can remove not only the passives but get all the damage that
Reserve
it adds.
time.
And there's a lot of heroes where if you don't buy the Aghanims, he's really not as
Team
effective
Empire's
against.
Turn to pick.
Such as Slurk, you have the Phantom Assassin, the Void even. I mean, all these heroes, you're not going to be removing their passives, which are really integral to their kits, and so you can't really go for those, sometimes we would see the BKB rush, or and we'd see Blink Dagger BKB. I think it just delays your BKB now, so Doom not really the hero he once was, which is pretty much first pick,
10
first ban,
seconds
but
remaining.
I think still a very playable hero and definitely strong in his own right.
5
Yeah, I think
seconds
what surprised me the
remaining.
most was that people just kind of stopped picking him for a long time. And
It was kind of like Lycan.
Reserve
yeah,
time.
I mean, people were like, "Is this hero still good? Should we pick him? Like, is there any room for him? Will we actually get enough out of him?" And people are starting to realize, okay, the hero still has its ups and downs. So
There was also another big nerf to his Devour because Centaur no longer has the attack speed buff,
oh, that's right.
and Centaur is one of the best creeps to have. So
I actually never thought about that
yeah, that's actually another big hit to Doom. But
because
in
you
general,
want the stomp mostly,
yeah.
but the attack speed is really good too.
You either get that or the Alpha Wolf, and since it no longer has the aura, its effectiveness dropped a little bit because it was an aura, so it gave it to your entire team. So
It's generally always Alpha Wolf from what I've seen recently out of Dooms and what they devour. That might change this game. They might decide against something else, but at least that's what I've seen coming out from
10 seconds remaining.
these heroes. We will see 10 seconds left in reserve time, and Empire are struggling to find their hero. They're going to pick up a Rubik now. They want to try to steal
Dire
Ravage
team
here
pick.
against this Tidehunter, and it's not going to be easy. Not until he gets his Blink Dagger anyways. He also will be able to steal a couple of spells from Puck, and honestly, Familiars or Soul Assumption wouldn't be bad either.
yeah, Soul Assumption definitely a good spell to steal. I mean, it's on an extremely low cooldown, high damage, and since Rubik's most likely going to be getting some sort of mana item, he'll be able to have enough mana to support spamming that skill, as it does
10
cost
seconds remaining.
a rather large portion of your mana.
That's the thing. That's
5
really
seconds
where Visage
remaining.
actually. He used to be first pick, first ban for a long time, and they changed the mana of some
Reserve
visibilities. And I don't know if they changed his int pool, but he just can't cast as many spells in
They
lane
did.
now anymore.
He got an int nerf a long time ago.
He's a bit more dumb, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's a pretty much go-to nerf to these support heroes. Make them stupid.
Crystal Maiden, God, she's just, they made her really, really just, you said it before, she's a blonde, and you're absolutely right. Like, she's just dumb as hell, unfortunately. She's still okay in certain
Team
lineups, but I feel like
Empire's turn to
the only
pick.
team I see play her is like FY for
I feel like
VGN.
even Rubik, when he was really strong, got an int nerf.
He probably did. I remember it specifically it was base
Or
damage
base
and Fade
damage,
Bolt.
at least.
It was
Yeah.
base damage Fade Bolt for sure, and that just took him out of the mid lane. Which, by the way, I don't know why you would ever do that. In my honest opinion, I feel like he was one of the most exciting mid laners, and like that's what made TI2 amazing.
Yeah, but he really wouldn't fit in mid anymore, even if he was reverted back to
10
his old
seconds
self.
remaining.
I guess so. You're
The
probably
mid
right.
lane, it's too farm. Like,
5 seconds
we saw
remaining.
it's, anytime you have a mid lane who's not, like, that's kind of why we see Puck in the
5
offlane now,
seconds
because in the mid lane, you really want to have something that scales really well. So.
Yeah.
Dire team
Like a Templar
ban.
Assassin, for example, for Team Empire. Man, they gave me that transition so easily. Well, they're going to pick that up. Wraith King is picked up for Secret, and more than likely support, but we'll have to wait and see. They still have their last pick. But TA for Empire, pretty strong.
10 seconds
Scandals
remaining.
TA, I think, is it's quite solid. It's up there, I'd say, with some of the best in the business. So.
Yep. So the Templar Assassin for Scandal, probably one of his best heroes and most comfortable. I think he was pretty much known as a TA and SF expert when he sort of came out of the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And Wraith King picked up for Team Secret, so looking towards that late game with the auras, definitely a great scaling support hero. Could actually even be played as a carry, considering they have a Doom, so very good against these heroes where you blow your load and then I come back and I have 2 lives, so...
Some would say it's sort of a Doom counter to a certain extent. Yeah. It's pretty good. I think it's. I mean, you're not going to doom a Wraith King as long as he has his ult up, but yeah, I don't think you're going to doom a 1-button hero regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. Well, I mean, if he has Aghanims, it would disable crit and aura. So
that's something at least.
Or wait, no, it wouldn't disable aura. It would disable crit though. It's passive.
Regardless, I think at this point, I think it's a good choice, and this provides them. It's not as gritty of a draft as the last one was. They don't have an Elder Titan. They don't have a Keeper of the Light. They are not stacking jungle camps. They're not taking with Illuminate. They're not, they could get kills in light with Visage and Wraith King. It's almost the complete opposite. And Secret are like, let's not do that again. Let's not pick that lineup again because I'm pretty sure Croaky's like, can you just I want farm. As somebody that has played core, not necessarily in a professional or competitive role, but as someone that plays core often and you can't get CS because your lane is just it's not going well, I feel like it could be a bit frustrating. So I can imagine Croaky. Oh wow, I don't think anybody expected that.
That's a troll pick.
That is a troll pick.
I think this hero's actually quite good, and I think it's a little underused. He definitely functions in a lot of... I just find it a bit strange, though, that they pick a troll with no real other right-click hero in their lineup. I mean, usually a lot of times when we see this troll pick, we'll see it comboed with the Void offlane.
Right.
So then you aren't necessarily forced to go this Mask of Madness because you have the Battle Trance. And... it's just a bit surprising to me that they pick up the troll with no real other right-click hero. But we'll see how this goes.
This is an answer coming out for Empire as well. An interesting decision. I guess that's a way to stop Wraith King Troll from jumping on your face.
They're going to have extremely good teamfight and kiting power. I think it's going to be very important how much work they can get done inside the Ravage and the Coil. Because after that point, it's going to be really difficult to chase into these heroes now that they have this Venomancer and the Elder Titan, which provides a lot of control.
It's like a reverse of the last game almost, where Secret were the ones that had plenty of kiting potential, and then the Puck and another AoE control hero were on the other side. But Team Secret have the Puck now. They also have the Tidehunter, and they're still deciding on who's going to be picking up what hero here, but this is definitely not the draft I was expecting for either squad, especially Silent playing the Venomancer and the troll pickup for